My friends, today we stand at a defining moment in history. The story of nations has always been about vision, strategy, and the courage to act boldly. And right now, the world is watching a transformation that is nothing short of remarkable. India, home to over 1 billion dreams, has begun to write a new chapter. A chapter that is not about following others, but about leading. Not about imitation, but innovation. This is not just progress, this is a master plan. While some countries wrestle with gridlock, division, and hesitation, India is building, investing in its people, powering its industries, and embracing technology with both hands. America, with all its strength, cannot afford to ignore this shift, because India is no longer waiting for permission, it is setting the pace. This plan is not about domination, but transformation. It's about lifting millions from poverty, turning young minds into innovators, and creating systems that no rival can easily match. And here's the truth: the race of the future will not be won by who shouts the loudest, but by who builds the smartest. India is proving that its strength lies not only in its numbers, but in its vision, a vision that reaches far beyond today and deep into tomorrow. India today is defined not just by its vast landscape or its rich history, but by something far more powerful: its people. When we speak of the future, we cannot ignore that India's greatest strength lies in its population, a force unmatched in scale, energy, and potential. Unlike many nations facing an aging crisis, India stands tall with the youngest workforce in the world. Millions of young men and women are stepping forward with not only ambition in their hearts, but with the hunger to learn, to create, to innovate. This is not a generation satisfied with survival. It is a generation determined to lead. Every year, millions of graduates step out of universities armed with knowledge of science, engineering, technology, and business. They are not just job seekers, they are job creators. From rural villages to bustling cities, these young minds are breaking barriers, challenging traditions, and reshaping what is possible. While other countries struggle with shrinking workforces, India is tapping into a resource that renews itself every single day. This is human capital at its most powerful: the spark of a student designing a new app, the determination of a farmer adopting modern techniques, the vision of an entrepreneur building the next global company. This generation is not waiting for the future to arrive. They are creating it in real time. When we talk about the future of nations, we cannot escape the reality that technology is no longer a luxury, it is the backbone of progress. And here, India has chosen not to follow, but to lead. Over the last decade, India has built a digital infrastructure that is not only vast but revolutionary. From Aadhaar, the largest biometric identity system in the world, to UPI, a payment platform that allows a street vendor to collect money instantly with a QR code. India has already built the rails for a digital economy faster, cheaper, and more inclusive than most advanced economies. But India is not content with back office work. It is entering the frontier of artificial intelligence, data analytics, robotics, and space exploration. Look at the moon landings accomplished at a fraction of the cost of Western powers. Look at the startups rising in fintech, biotech, and edtech. Innovation is no longer something India imports, it is something India exports. Most importantly, this revolution is not confined to the elite. It is empowering farmers, women, and children in remote villages with knowledge and opportunities once unimaginable. Technology has become the great equalizer, and in this, India has already leapt ahead. For decades, the world relied on one engine for manufacturing, but India has seen the cracks in that model and stepped forward to become the world's most trusted hub of production. Global companies are moving plants, building factories, and creating jobs for millions of workers. Smartphones assembled in Indian facilities are reaching global markets, Automobiles and semiconductors are carrying the Made in India stamp, and pharmaceuticals produced here are saving lives around the world. This is not just about exports. It's about resilience. Supply chains have shown themselves vulnerable, and India offers what others cannot: a young, skilled workforce, political stability, and an ambitious national strategy through Make in India. What begins as an assembly line in one city becomes an engine of prosperity across entire regions. India is not filling a gap. It is becoming indispensable. The gravity of global manufacturing is shifting, and it is shifting toward India. Energy has always been the foundation of power, but India is no longer content to rely on others or repeat the mistakes of fossil fuel dependence. It is leading the charge toward clean, renewable, sustainable energy. Solar farms in Rajasthan, wind turbines in Tamil Nadu, and green hydrogen projects across the nation are not dreams of tomorrow. They are realities of today. India has turned the challenge of climate change into an opportunity, setting some of the most ambitious renewable targets in the world. This isn't only about protecting the environment, it's about independence. Every solar panel, every turbine, every hydrogen plant means less dependence on oil imports and more control over India's future. And this is not just about infrastructure, it is about people. A child in a rural village studying under a solar-powered lamp, a farmer irrigating fields with renewable energy pumps, a small business thriving with reliable electricity. This is how the energy revolution touches lives. By scaling renewables, India is also driving down global costs, proving that growth and green leadership can go hand in hand. Power in the 21st century is measured not only by economics, but by influence, the ability to build bridges across continents. India has mastered this art with diplomacy anchored in respect and trust. It is strengthening ties with the United States while maintaining partnerships with Russia. It is investing in Africa, securing energy deals in the Middle East, and innovating with Europe. Few nations balance so many relationships with such skill. This influence is not only political, it is cultural. Indian movies captivate global audiences. Yoga unites millions. Cuisine and traditions create bonds far beyond borders. Soft power, paired with hard strategy, has given India a role as both a bridge and a fulcrum in an increasingly divided world. In a time of polarization, India's voice carries weight because it represents both ambition and empathy, both modern growth and historical wisdom. And at the heart of this grand vision lies the principle of self-reliance. India has decided that it will not build its future on dependency. It is producing its own fighter jets and warships, developing its own digital platforms, and scaling industries once dominated by imports. During the pandemic, India showed the world what self-reliance looks like by producing vaccines, not only for itself, but for dozens of other nations. Self-reliance is not about isolation. It is about independence. It is about ensuring that when India trades with the world, it does so from a position of strength. It is also about psychology, casting off centuries of dependency and saying with confidence, we are capable, we are resilient, and we will chart our own course. Every locally built machine, every startup in a small town, every farmer using indigenous innovation adds to this culture of ownership. It is not just economics. It is pride, it is sovereignty, it is destiny. And so, as we look ahead, let us be clear about what this moment represents. This is not just the rise of another economy. This is not just another chapter in the story of nations. This is a turning of the tide. For too long, power and progress were defined by others. But now, India is showing the world a different way, a way built on resilience, on ambition, on innovation, and on unity. The truth is simple. The future will not belong to the loudest voice or the oldest empire. It will belong to those who prepare, who build, who dare to dream beyond limits. And India has already begun that journey with a master plan so bold, so comprehensive, that no rival can easily match it. This is more than strategy, it is destiny in motion. 1 billion people rising, a nation finding its full strength, a civilization stepping into its rightful place on the world stage. The question for the rest of the world is not whether India will succeed. The question is, will you be ready when it does? Because the future is not waiting, and India is not slowing down.